Welcome back to another Create Mod episode. Today, I know I said maybe we were going to build another building or a redstone farm or something else, but I'll let you in on a little secret here. I want the building to be made out of mud. And spoilers, that's why I made the dirt farm. But what I didn't realize is that packed mud requires a wheat or straw, both of which I do not have, which means I need a farm setup of some sort, and I don't think my 9x9 with most of it being not wheat is going to do it. So I think today we terraform and completely fix up this like part of the mountain here into a super cool looking, like maybe rolling hills type of farming area, something cool. I want to get a train in so that we can transport all the items back to the main base. I want to build a barn up on the top of this hill and move all of our sheep over to there. And then we can automate sheep farming and all that stuff, and maybe also cows and some other things. But this is going to be a big project. I don't know if it's going to be in one episode. We'll see how long the farming bit takes, but that's what I want to do. So I think the first thing I need to do is lay out some plans of where the train's going to go and how kind of I want this to look. Because right now it looks a little bit uggo. So I think first things first, I'm going to clear out most of these trees. I think we're just going to go like from here on like this top of the mountain area like this. I mean, obviously we can expand it forever, but I don't think we need that much stuff. I think we mostly focus on this main hill area here. But I need to take out all these trees because they'll be ruining the vibe. Low key. With a full inventory and probably much more of logs and stuff later, we now have a pretty clear area here. Now I think comes the time of setting up the railroad and how I want that to be. I'm not sure if I want it at all on this side. I think it's probably best if I have it go across this way, have it loop kind of around and up here into the where we're going to build the big barn area at the very end, and then head back down and meet up here. Uh-oh. There we go. So I think we can have the train going around this way. But on this close cliffside, I want to do kind of a Machu Picchu vibe where they have like steps of farms going up. And I think this cliff is cliffy enough for it to actually work. But I need to get a lot of building blocks, including some mossy cobblestone. We don't really have a moss farm, but I think we have a bit of moss and probably enough to get started at least. So I think we just cut into the mountain, start from the bottom, work our way up, and see where it gets us. I don't really have a plan other than just some flooring going upward. So I think we'll see how it turns out. So I'm thinking we start about halfway up here. So I think this is probably a good height. If we dig along here, break out a couple of these blocks. Yeah, I think that'll be good. I don't know how in I want this to go. I think 4 blocks is pretty reasonable. And then if we terraform this just a little bit, like this, we can have some walls coming down here, maybe jut out the base of this thing a little bit, and then I think that'll be cool. And then we could put our next one at the same level, like here, and have this one be curved, which I think would look pretty sweet. And then maybe like another semi-curved one here. I think this could look pretty good. I'm gonna tear down some of this mountain and do a little bit of wall building, terraforming type of stuff, and we'll see if it looks good. But I am using like Machu Picchu photos as a reference. This could be our kind of viewing platform. But I think this can look cool. While I was actually looking at this, I realized that I can upgrade my backpack to get another slot here, another upgrade slot, and then get a stone cutter upgrade, which would let me stone cut just whenever. I don't even know where it went, but it's a thing, trust me. And I think that could be a play, because it's super not as expensive as I thought. You just need a smithing template and a netherite upgrade, which we have one of. So now we should just be able to throw in these 3. It still has all our stuff, so we're good there. And oh, it gives us 2 extra slots. Oh, that's sick. And some extra storage space. Love to see that. So now we can make the stone cutter upgrade, throw it in there, and now we can just stone cut on the fly, which actually does save us like a lot of money when it comes to stairs and walls and stuff like that, because crafting them is more expensive for some reason. Okay, sleep. Okay, and this is going to be the roughest of first drafts here. So just to like give you an idea of what I was hoping for, and obviously it looks pretty horrible right now, but I think with a little bit more work, and I wanted to use a bunch of these different moss blocks here, but they're kind of too uniform for what I wanted to go with the mossy cobble and the cobble. So I might not be able to use them, which is such a bummer because they add a bunch of green, but I think as you can kind of see, it looks too structured, which I want it to be like a little bit ruinsy, at least on the edges, so that it feels like I've been, so it feels like the factory, I guess, has been kind of rekindling this to its former farming glory. But we can also see, let me place some of these back with some nicer looking blocks here. There we go. You can kind of see where I'm going too. So we have tough cobblestone and mossy cobble in there, and then this whole bottom area is just deep slate terraforming for right now. I do obviously want to change this. It's probably mostly going to be moss and mossy cobblestone with just some juts of deep slate, but I wanted to get the shape in and see if the colors worked, and I think they kind of do, which is great news. I want to get some moss in here as well. I'm not sure where, though, because obviously we could just throw some in like this, and if we, I bet, bring this down, like throw some moss down there, and then keep adding stuff in, I think that'll make it look quite a bit better. So I think that'll be step 2 of this little thing, and then we can go about actually figuring out what I want to do with specific details. My plan for this build, unlike the factory, the factory I just built up in one episode and it was really quick. I want to heavily detail, like, just this section today, and have this little bit be done of the whole thing, because I'm gonna be honest, the way I play Minecraft, if I'm finished building something and it looks kind of good, like I would say the factory looks kind of good, I'm literally never in my life gonna go back and detail it. So if I just force myself to detail this heavily the first time, I think it will turn out a lot better and still fit with kind of the theme. So yeah, I want to terraform and get this little detail, I might not even get to this episode, but I want to get just a little bit in here, and we can chip away at this as we go further into the series. So I'm not too worried about finishing this whole mountain today. I know maybe 4 minutes ago I was saying I want to do the whole mountain. This has taken so long. Even though it doesn't look like it, it's taken so long. So we got to find at least a little bit of common ground. Yeah, I think a little bit of moss, a little bit of grass, a lot of bit of bone meal and other stuff will turn this into something that looks super cool. So yeah, I will see you all in a minute. Okay, another little progress update, and I think this looks infinitely better. I kept the same shape, but I changed out most of the coloring here. You can see very little deep slate remaining, and I wanted it to be mostly in like the shadowy bits, so that you could get the kind of the fake shadows of deep slate like in the depths here. And I think that adds a lot, and I really like the way it looks with the normal rocks here. And I think if we get this going along the entirety of the mountain, it's gonna look so nice. I also tried it out with some shaders, and oh my goodness, this looks beautiful. Obviously, when we have crops and stuff here, it's gonna look really great, but already this is looking super cool. But it has taken me like 4 hours to build this little bit. I hope each next one is gonna take less and less time. You can see here that I already mapped out my second platform. It's going to be on the same level as this one, and I already mapped it out with a windmill bearing just to make sure that this is the right radius that we can harvest at, and it is. I'm not sure if it's too far of a radius. I think we'll see once we get to placing the blocks underneath it. But I think I want to have this connect up with the ground here, and then do a similar kind of outcropping to inlet type of thing. So I guess let's get started on that, and yeah, then we'll see how it looks. This second one is done, and it took way less time. Let's see it. There we go. I think it looks really nice, and I really like the connection down here with this other mound-ish thing. I still haven't done anything under the water yet, but I think I do that as like the very last step. And then also I plan on, I'm not sure yet what I want to do, but I plan on having a second and third level here. I don't know if we want it to be like exactly above it, or if we want them kind of separate so we have a flat platform in this area. I probably want it uniformly, but I think we can try uniform, and if that doesn't look great, we can switch it up. But I think it's looking really good, but this is taking so long. So I think I'm definitely going to get just this part done this episode, but I think it looks so good. I think the detailing is great. And I want to be honest, I'm not great at terraforming, but I think this is turning out really, really good. So I'm very, very happy about it. I think now it's time-lapse time. And hey, how about we do a talking over time-lapse instead of just some music with stuff going on. So hi, I'm me. I don't have a bunch to talk about, but I'd like to thank you all for watching the videos, liking them so much. Channel has grown, I think, double in size in a month, which is crazy. So thank you very much for that. And then some other stuff. I'm still in school, and like the end of classes are coming up, same with finals. So maybe the next 2 weeks, the video schedule isn't going to be as perfect as I'd like it to be. And then pretty much right after finals, I'm going to Germany for 2 weeks. So it'll be even more crazy. But then I'm starting work, and then after that, it should be pretty okay. So semi-soon, it should be back to a normal schedule. But the time lapse is already over. So back to me. And there we go. Oh my goodness. This took so long. It is 3 days later. But it looks so, so good. Oh my gosh. And it's functional. We got grass here, 2 things there, a couple more here. I plan on maybe having 1 more there. And obviously, if we expand this further around the mountain, we'll have plenty more. But I think most importantly, it looks super, super good. And I'm happy about this. I think we have to see this with shaders on. So there we go. shaders in the morning sun, and a perfect viewing platform. This looks so good. And obviously once we finish off the top of the mountain and then also kind of the rest of the sides, this is going to look crazy good. I want to also incorporate this. Obviously this building is going to be way out over the mountain here, so I have to do some terraforming. I want to continue this style over to the actual main mountain hill base side, which I think we'll be able to do. Obviously I haven't done any detailing like down here. I'm going to throw in some tall grass, and I've already thrown in one azalea bush here just because I was missing like a little something, and I didn't know what exactly I was missing, so I was trying out a couple things, and this azalea bush stuck. But I need to do a bit of detailing, but let me walk you through, I guess, what I'm thinking while I'm building this stuff, because I'm going to be honest, I don't know what I'm thinking. So for grass purposes, I'm kind of just going to throw it down everywhere, and then occasionally make them a bit taller. I totally forgot to turn the shaders off. So for grass, I'm just like throwing them down here and not really caring about where they go. I think the main thing is getting a little bit more depth and, I guess, height, but maybe not height. Height might not be the right word, but depth or something else to the terraforming that we're doing. I think maybe I try out some carpets in certain places, I would say. Like maybe on top of some mossy cobble. I think that'll look okay. Oh, also, during the time lapse, you could probably see that I started mining really quick. I got an andesite exoskeleton, which gives me haste 2, and as a trade-off weakness, but the haste 2 is super helpful. And that's what made me zoom through everything, which is super, super nice. But yeah, as I was saying, there's not really a method to the grass placing madness. It's just place something everywhere. But for the actual build itself, I feel like the thought process was I want it to look really mossy, but not just like a blob of moss. So it was mostly trying to balance the number of moss things here while keeping it feeling like it's really mossy. And I think the grass is going to help with that. It'll just add some more moss flavor without adding a ton of mossiness. I don't think that's the right word, but you know what I'm saying. And then I also wanted to keep like these areas relatively man-made, so I kept the tough backdrop and kind of like 3 blocks under it to make it feel like this was placed here on purpose. And then everywhere else, it's mostly like stone, andesite, gravel type of thing. So hopefully that actually works, and I think it does make it look pretty good. And as I was talking about earlier, I'm keeping like the shadows of like in caves doing deep slate sporadically, just because I think it does add a little bit extra of what we were missing. And then I was thinking while I was building to add some extra like buttons or maybe pressure plates just to add a little bit more depth. And I think that'll look pretty good. Okay, so I think that's most of the grass in here now. Obviously a couple more bits here and there. But I think this is looking overall pretty good. And then if I also just grab a couple buttons and just throw them down, you probably won't notice them from far away, but I hope that if you're like looking a little bit closely, you'll be able to tell that maybe just a bit more detail went into it. Alright, and I think that will probably do it for the buttons. As I was buttoning though, there are some stairs that I actually really like the placement of, and I think maybe I dot a few more in just for some added depth, just around and about. Now I'm looking for places on like a kind of flat wall like this one, and I'm just throwing them in, not like that. I'm just throwing them in like a corner stair setup like that. And then maybe another one here. And then depending on what's behind it, like sometimes there's dirt behind it. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, dirt. So if I can find something here, I'll switch it with deep slate and get it just a little bit darker in there. And I think that does add quite a bit. There we go. And I think that is now done. Stepping back, it looks like even that little bit adds so much. Like the little extra grass, the little buttons everywhere. I didn't think you'd notice it that much, but you can notice it a ton. And the little gaps in the stairs. I think it adds a little bit of it's breaking apart type of vibes instead of like compared to the uniform not breaking apart specifically because that's the whole point of it thing. I low-key might even add more buttons because it's so noticeable. And it makes it look so much better. Like, I expected it to not look as good as it does, in all honesty. But, like, specifically when you're on an angle, it adds a ton. Okay, I think that is now done. And it looks so good. I'm so happy about this. This is going to be a forever long project. I think probably just as long as the rest of the base. But this can now do what we want it to do, which is be a farm. So the only reason, let me remind you, that I wanted this is so that I could grow more wheat. And I'm going to do it in a fun little way. So obviously, actually, oh, does this work because it's raining? That would be fun. I was going to say, obviously, this won't actually be wet, but I guess it will be. The reason I made these things for deep is because water, as you can see in this little gap, is going to be placed here, maybe with a stair. Oh, that could be smart. Because if I put a stair here, then it won't look like there's a gap, but it'll still hydrate the crops. So let's see, if I throw this in there, that should hydrate that little bit, and it's raining so we can't tell. But the intention is to use this as a wheat field and rice field and a couple of other things eventually when we get to it field. Because I want packed mud so I can build the other buildings. I guess the other one building for now. And we don't have any packed mud. So that's the only reason we're building this thing. Which might be a little bit overkill, but that's okay. And then this whole bottom section should be fully hydrated and we can start already planting some crops. This will eventually be automated. I'm going to have in the back here windmill bearings with 8 sails on them and harvesters. Harvesters obviously just harvest and replant stuff. But the good thing about that is that it can go through blocks. So I'm just going to have it occasionally show up and come through here, but otherwise it's going to look great like this, and I think that will work and look really cool. Why is there zombies in my house? Well, now that they're gone, let me grab some wheat, or seeds I suppose, and we can go plant these things. I'm actually not really sure what this is going to look like with all of the seeds and stuff in. I hope it still looks good. Let's see. Oh, that actually looks better. Oh my goodness. This is going to look so cool. Alright, I just waterlogged those 2 stairs behind the walls on this level as well. I'm going to just throw wheat here, and then that's probably enough for now to get us started on the amount of straw and wheat that we'll probably need. I can obviously add more if I need it. But all these crops should be fully hydrated. It's raining, so it's going to be hard to tell. But they should be. And that is all of the seeds that I have, just already. This looks so good. I'm still gushing over it. It's taken so long, and we're not even like an eighth of the way down the entire mountain. But when this is done, it's going to look beautiful. And here it is with all of the farms hydrated and stuff is growing. I added a little bit more here just because we had some more seeds. But it is looking so good. And once we get in the rest of the crops and even higher up on the mountain and stuff, and then the large factory type of thing up there where we process everything in a train that comes over with like a bridge. It's going to look so cool. But I've already done too much in this video, so that is going to be it for me today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this episode, be sure to like and consider subscribing. I'll see you all next time. Peace.